What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Why We Love PlayStation VR. Sitting across from me this week and every week, the Sofa King himself.
Hello.
Jeremy King.
And sitting next to me,
This is going to be a thing, isn't it?
as always, Bryan Paul.
I'm glad you're clapping. No one out there cares. And every week on Why We Love PlayStation VR, we dip into the PSVR archive, we pull out a game at random. We review the crap out of it, man. We talk about it for way too long.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
We see if it's been given any love by developers, any DLC, any updates, any patches, and then we let you know, the loyal game cats, if it's worth your time. Your time. Your time down there.
Good old Goonies reference.
See what you do to me?
I know.
Right.
You know, I wonder if Mouth actually collected every penny he found down in that well, if he like invested with it, or if he just blew it on hair gel.
You blew it on hair gel.
Probably, in members only jackets.
That being said, Jeremy, what game did we decide to play this week?
Immortal Legacy, the Jade Cipher.
Immortal Legacy, the Jade Cipher by Viva Games came out April 16, 2019 for $19.99. $20. What kind of game is Immortal Legacy, the Jade Cipher, Jeremy?
Action adventure. Horror.
Ooh, that's what I wrote. Action adventure.
With a good horror slant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Would you say more horror than Intruders last week?
Oh, yes. Well, I don't know. Different. I would say more horror, less tension. I'll go with that.
Okay.
I'd say last week was definitely more of a suspense tension type of game after playing this, which would be more horror action adventure.
That's a lot of words.
A lot, yes. A lot of words.
For anyone who doesn't know, Immortal Legacy Jade Cipher was funded by the China Hero Project, which was a program that Sony developed to basically help Chinese developers get their games out there, developed, and so that means it was, I think, published by Sony.
Yeah.
Insanity.
Yeah. Really.
So what happens, man? Like, this is so ridiculous.
It is pretty ridiculous.
Like, can we talk about before we even talk about the game?
We have to, yes.
Can we talk about like the opening cutscenes?
Yeah. All of it. All right. So, Cookie Pie, right?
Yeah.
All right. So,
you dove right into it, man.
I looked under her skirt. I have never done that in a VR game. This game wanted me to do it, and I did. And I was like, well, wait a minute.
Did you find anything?
I mean,
was it a collectible?
I mean, I guess, but I didn't try to collect it.
Yeah, good for you.
Yeah, really.
That's very progressive of you.
Yeah, that's for somebody special to take from her. Or, no, not take from her. Let her gladly give.
Well,
anyhow.
Let's talk about Cookie Pie. Cookie Pie is a streamer.
Yeah.
She has lots of followers, and she decided to go to this island.
Yeah.
Because of
dragons.
There's a myth surrounding this island that there's dragons aplenty.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, I'm going to go and I'm going to show my followers dragons.
Yeah. Check them out. No camera, though.
No, I mean, why would she have a camera?
Right? I don't even know did she even have a cell phone to take videos?
No idea.
Yeah. I don't know how she got there. She was there.
Yeah.
And then, I was thinking we would see her here and there.
Yeah.
But I mean.
Yeah. After talking to developers, as it turns out, there were much bigger plans for Cookie Pie. But then,
I would assume, yeah.
Yeah, and then development, they had to start cutting corners and doing whatever to get the game out and finished. And so Cookie Pie didn't end up being as big.
I feel like they cut pretty much every character out of that beginning section.
Yeah.
Like completely.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
How did the story work for you overall?
It was all right. I mean, it seemed like the story, the way it was delivered to you via reading. You know what I'm saying? Like collectibles and reading those things and hearing those little recordings from that dude.
The little recordings were great, I thought.
Yeah.
I thought they were really well acted.
They were well acted.
And I love the 3D sound where it's like you have it in your hand and you like put it up to your
around.
ear
Yeah,
and you can totally
really
hear it
neat.
exactly where it is in 3D space.
Yeah.
And I think it really pushed the story forward. And if you did stop and read all those documents, they actually shoehorned a ton of story into this game.
They do. Yes.
What about the cutscenes?
Awkward. Strange.
Awkward.
Because I mean, it was like it would go black.
Yeah.
And then for like just long enough time where you're like, do I need to restart? Oh, there it is. You don't know if your PS just froze.
Yeah.
And then you'd be like here, and then you'd have to be like, whoa, and then it would be like here at a strange angle.
Yeah.
Character in the chair, that lady.
Yeah, so you're basically talking about one of the first big in-game cutscenes, And it gets first of all, the story goes off the rails at this point.
Wicked, yeah.
Right? It's just like suddenly it's like sci-fi.
Yeah.
Right? It's like it just doesn't seem to fit with like the motif of the island or anything like that.
Not at all. Somebody definitely was heavily inspired by Kojima for that. You know, they were like
Kojima.
Oh,
right?
wicked. Yeah. Which I thought was great.
Yeah.
And
it's bonkers, off the wall.
Yes.
Like, and the great thing about that is I feel like these developers were like, we're making a video game.
Yeah.
Don't forget, video games are supposed to be crazy and kind of off the wall and a little bit weird.
Yeah.
And I feel like I haven't had one of those experiences for a long time.
They try to base it too much in the reality that they create for that game.
Yeah.
Like the Final Fantasy games are pretty known for that. It's like, here it is. It's pretty contained. Yeah. Kojima, he's all about whatever. He's fucking nuts, and I love his style. Like, he makes these epic, like, soap operas, if you will, in a game, and in the drama. You could see a lot of that in Immortal Legacy, but I wish I could have seen that fleshed out instead of like a little blurb of it,
Right. And I feel like this is a great setup to potentially a series.
Well, that's what they were saying, right? Viva Games, they want to create several of these, and that they were hoping that this is a setup and that they have better ideas for the second one, which, yes, let's hope. I mean, they did a lot of good things here. It seemed like a lot of great ideas thrown together to get a game out.
Yeah.
And now maybe they can sit back, and it's kind of like you got a box of constructs, and you quickly make, look, I made a cross. And it's like, okay, yeah, they can come together and make some stuff, but let's think of like something awesome to build.
Right. In all fairness, man, I remember falling asleep during Metal Gear Solid 4 cutscenes.
Oh, yeah.
They were so long and drawn out that I'm actually...
Too long.
I would much rather have it be this way in VR.
Yes.
Because, man, the last thing you want in VR
No.
is a drawn out... I mean, because the beginning cutscenes of this game bordered on being too long.
And slow.
I've got issues with the cutscenes because they are awkward and the camera angles are just random.
Yeah.
And on top of that, sometimes... you're used to having your move controllers and having control of your hands.
Yes.
But during cutscenes, it's just like, oh, well, wherever... No, you have no control.
Just wait.
Yep.
I agree.
Yeah. I will say, however, when you're sitting in that first cutscene and everything goes crazy, graphics are pretty insane.
They are pretty good,
Yeah.
I like the whole setup. The one soldier dude in the beginning that captured you.
Yeah.
First of all, I wish his commander, or whatever the higher term would be, took him a little more seriously, because he's like, I captured somebody, fell from the sky. They're like, yeah, stop playing with your imaginary friend.
Right. Next thing you know, you'll be telling us there's dragons here.
Yeah. That imaginary friend just fucked up your whole plans.
Right.
They should have listened to him.
Right.
And I thought that was like an introduction to some, crazy soldier guy, but it wasn't. But I liked how they unfolded things. I just wish they kind of remembered that they talked about these people.
Yeah. With any luck, maybe it'll all come back together in the sequel.
Exactly.
But you know what? Like, I didn't care. I was having too much fun. It was too much of a fun romp for me to be like, whatever.
Yeah.
Story is definitely secondary in a game like this. And I will say, we haven't really talked about the game.
No.
But like for the first 90 minutes or so, I mean, it feels a little Uncharted like.
It does. Yeah.
Yeah, you're thrown onto this island. You know nothing about it. You just have to kind of push forward, grab as many guns as you possibly can.
Very windy island.
Very windy
Very
island.
windy.
There's enemy guards everywhere.
Yeah.
Right? Who are suddenly now your enemy.
Yeah.
Right?
Not like, hey, who are you? They just like bang, bang, bang. It's like,
Exactly.
whoa, dude, it's me. It's Jake. Or whatever the guy's Tyre. His name was Tyre.
His name was Tyre.
Yeah.
But so that's what you're doing for the first 90 minutes or so. You're running around this island. You're killing bad guys.
Getting guns, learning the way the mechanics of it all, unfolds.
How did the move controllers work out for you?
So, for the first 2 sessions of playing, I would oftentimes switch my weapon when I meant to churn.
Yep.
Or I would back up when I meant to churn.
Yep.
Or I would just, whatever, different random things with button pressing. By the third and then the final time of playing it, I was definitely getting a lot. I understood it. It still felt a little strange, but you could make it work. Where you hold both of the what is that? The move button.
Yeah.
When you pull in and you move faster, and then you'd want to churn, but you got to do the click, click, click to churn. With the half churn angles.
So you use click turning, not smooth turning.
I tried changing to the smooth churning, but I don't know. I kept it on the clicks.
Okay.
And I definitely started out with the slow setting. for movement. And I'm like, this is outrageous. There has to be a fix for this.
Slow.
Unbelievably slow. There'd be no way, I don't think, later in the game to actually move past some of those environmental traps without it being set to a different speed.
Right.
I don't know how they got away with that.
No idea.
Yeah.
No idea. In fact, so that was one of the patches, is that they really did kind of listen to the community. And we said, like there are some improvements you could make to this. Yeah. They added, I think Type C is the control scheme that I use.
Okay.
Which makes it's the most traditional of this kind of untraditional setup. Okay. What I do like about it is that once you learn it, you're kind of like, this is such a great control scheme. Once you learn it, the problem is once you learn it, the game's over.
It's done. Yeah.
Right? Now after I played the game again for this review.
Okay.
It's now the 4th time I've beaten this game. Right.
Wow.
Yeah, and so I'm really used to the control scheme.
Yeah.
I'm sort of baffled as to why other games don't use this control scheme.
Okay.
Because it does allow you to like move and strafe
and shoot
and turn all at the same time.
Yeah.
Right. It's just it feels kind of perfect after a while.
Sure.
But it's not intuitive.
No, it is just so against how everything we've done from this point forward. It's like relearning,
Didn't you guys play Skyrim? Like, why didn't you use Skyrim controls?
It's like driving on the opposite side. Like if you went over to Europe or wherever the hell and drove on the other side.
Place.
Yeah, somewhere else, not here.
No idea.
But I thought the climbing ladders and the rocks was awesome.
Felt good.
I really like that. How it really felt fluid and easy and like the best, I think, out of any game of VR, climbing a ladder or rocks there is.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was nice and easy. I did not try, though, holding on to the rock. Could you take a weapon out and shoot while you were holding on a rock?
I don't know if I was ever in a position where they asked me to do that.
The only thing I can think of is when you were climbing the ladder on that area with the magnetic thing.
Yep.
There was the enemy waiting up at the top.
Yeah.
And I didn't know if like you came up and you're like, bing, bing, bing. I didn't try. No. Did you guys try?
Maybe you tried.
I'm wondering.
Everything about this eventually feels really good.
Yeah.
The fact that there's 2 different inventories, one for each hand.
Yeah.
Took a little while for me to master. Like hold down this button to bring up this inventory, and then being able to swap them from hand to hand.
Yeah.
Inventory management is so strange in this game.
I didn't even bother. I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just going with how I pick up things. It's in that hand, and I'm dealing with it. And I started that out. I'm lefty, so I accidentally went and I picked up a gun with my right hand.
Gotcha.
And I'm like, fuck. I think this is in my right hand now. And I didn't want to bother doing the whole inventory thing, so I started picking up guns with my left. Crazy thing is, I was getting headshots left and right. Uncharted, I was really good with headshots.
There you go.
So I was like, bink, bink, bink with my right hand, and I kept it. But I thought the hand situation was great. It felt good. Holding, grabbing doors, pushing buttons.
Everything.
All that stuff. They nailed it. I think they did a better job with this than... Oh, shit. What's the futuristic-y one with the bow and arrow where you get to type on the keyboards and stuff?
Apex Construct.
Apex Construct.
Yeah.
I think it felt better than that.
This does feel better than that. Yeah. With a huge exception of in this kind of every time this topic comes up, I always go, bear with me.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's very divisive. But when you have a body in game instead of just some floating hands, like it's got to be done really well.
Yeah.
Right? It's done so well in Firewall that if you asked me 2 months ago, I would be like, I don't think I have a body in Firewall because it feels so natural and it looks so well.
Yeah.
It's done so well.
Yep.
In this game, you have like this short little T-Rex arms.
Yeah.
It does not feel right at all.
It doesn't feel right. And I feel like it's how R2 feels. Like he's got this here, and it's like that's as far as it's got this thing holding him. Yeah. So everything is like weird, gimpy, movements.
It's strange, but I do feel like you get used to it quickly.
You do. I mean, it was such a secondary thought to me. Like, oh, these are awkward, but whatever.
Right. You mentioned how windy the island is.
Yes.
Like these are some of the best graphical effects I've seen from a smaller independent team.
Yeah.
Like with the windy area where all the trees are just like kind of like blowing in the wind like really fiercely.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it's just I think it's a really, really good looking game.
I like the scope of, I mean, when you were going over the rickety, planks of wood hanging everywhere, it's like, hey. I liked the enemies. They had a little of everything.
Yeah.
The rail shooting, if you will, on the train at the, I don't want to ruin, but you know what I'm saying.
Don't need to ruin anything, yeah.
No. No need.
Yeah, the AI. I didn't think the AI was all that good.
No, that wasn't the greatest.
But it felt good, man. It's like nothing better than just popping stupid dudes in the head.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
it's like headshot. A little white skull pops up,
yeah,
and you're like,
done.
another one.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah,
Yeah, very happy with
I was
that.
hoping to do the same with the, creature things, but
Yeah, not quite.
not at all.
No. So along with the windy trees, I thought the waterfalls were really well done.
Yeah.
I thought the lighting effects were really well done.
Yeah.
It's I mean there's just so many, and there's enough of a variety in the environments that if you're sick of looking at one, like eventually it's another one's on its way.
Like it's naturally progressed. It's not like, wow, this is the longest cave or islandy area. It definitely flows in how it changes, where as you get deeper into the caverns and whatnot, it changes, with the structures and further I will not ruin.
No, we don't need to ruin anything, but we'll say, I think it's important to say, obviously we're doing this for Halloween month.
Yeah.
So far we've kind of talked about it like an Uncharted game.
Yeah.
And now I feel like another way that it kind of follows the Uncharted formula is that Uncharted games always kind of talk about a myth the entire time.
Yeah.
And then for the last 10% of the game, it really just dives into like the paranormal or the supernatural or something.
Yep.
And about 90 minutes into this game, everything takes a left turn.
Yeah.
You're like,
no more humans.
You come around the corner.
Yep.
And it is just the biggest, craziest thing. You're like, I didn't expect this to be in this game.
Yeah.
Right. I'm just shooting like bad guys, and suddenly there's this giant, otherworldly enemy that, visually impressive. Like the scope of it, the size of it is unbelievable.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, now I got to fight this thing.
Yeah. It was pretty. It was like almost like the Demigorgon Tremor. It was like if a Demigorgon and a Tremor had a baby.
There we go. It's all sorts of crazy references there.
Yeah.
Stranger Things and Tremors. Not bad.
Yeah, it was an awesome encounter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just, and from that point on, it just becomes, in my book, a totally different game.
Yeah.
Like it's dark, it's creepy, it's definitely like it keeps you on your toes, it's scary.
It's almost like the original Far Cry on PC, where that had a shitload of just first-person shooting on this island, and it was not until quite into the game that these enemies came around. And yes, it's a creative way to up the difficulty, because it introduces the new enemies that are way more challenging than these single headshot dudes that are hanging around.
Yeah.
And they're faster paced, they're creepy, they're in the underground area. They just, it's not anything that hasn't been done before. They didn't reinvent the wheel at all. But they definitely did a really good job on a VR console. Yeah,
it might not have been. It's not terribly original as far as games go.
No.
But as far as VR games go,
I
I don't think I've seen this done quite as well yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's you can forget about all the shortcomings of it and just enjoy it. Similar to like last week's game with Intruders.
Right.
There's a ton they don't get that right, but there's so much stuff they do that you just whatever. It's a fun game.
How long did it take you to beat?
I don't know. I didn't really keep track as much, but I want to say give or take 3 hours, maybe 3:10 to maybe 2 hours and 50 to 3:10, somewhere in that ballpark.
Oh, you did pretty well.
Yeah.
I think my first run through was almost 4 hours.
Yeah.
Every subsequent playthrough has been shorter and shorter.
Faster. Yeah.
Right. So I'm probably down to about 2.5 hours now.
Yeah.
Really easily too. Like no need to explore all the stuff. Like I just know the path. Just go from start to finish. Boom, I'm good to go.
I did get stuck in the caverns. I couldn't find a certain way because there's that area you got to put the dynamite and blow up certain walls.
Yeah.
I blew up 2 of the 3, and there was that 1/3 wall that would progress me on, and I couldn't find it. I rage quit one night because I couldn't find it.
Did you know about the compass?
No.
Okay. I hear this from a lot of people.
Okay.
Right. I didn't prepare you for this. I didn't tell you anything ahead of time.
No.
But I've heard from a bunch of people who didn't know, like, because you get the compass pretty much right off the bat, right? As soon as you go into the cave, something falls in front of you, and there's a compass hanging there for you. And
Really?
yeah. And so. And
you mean like right? And
as soon as
right
you
there,
right after that first big boss.
Yeah.
And then you suddenly now you're in the caves for like the next hour.
Yeah.
Right. You end up getting a compass, and you hear a noise,
I've been wondering what the fuck that guy did.
There you go.
Like almost like a winding sound or something.
Yeah. Like
yeah.
Click, 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 click,
Yes.
That's the compass in your inventory spinning around.
Oh shit.
Yeah. So you take it out of your inventory, you hold it in your hand, and then to open it, this is for other people out there.
Yeah.
So many people said, "Oh, I got the compass, but how do I use it?" Just like reloading a weapon, you just give it a little shake, it pops open, and it tells you exactly where to go.
No shit.
You just follow the arrow.
God damn.
Yeah.
You know, and the whole time playing, I'm like, why isn't there a map or something?
Because you don't need
one. All these dudes, they're just too busy down there looking at posters of women. Yeah. There were posters everywhere.
A lot of women.
Yeah, a lot of women in this game.
Well, a lot of posters of women.
There's no HR, clearly, that works for that organization that's finding this cipher. Yeah. They'd be in trouble.
Yeah. Let me see here. I had a few other complaints. I don't want this to be a total upfest here.
Okay. Yes.
Obviously, we already talked about the short arms and the pretty terrible AI.
Yeah.
But also, there's that directional ring that pops up around you, like all the time for no reason at all.
Yep.
It is kind of annoying and kind of immersion killing if you don't need it. I wish there was an option to boom, just turn it off. Yeah. And if there is an option to turn it off, I totally missed it. But again, it's one of those things that you're like, man, it's just there. It's a thing.
I didn't mind that as much.
You didn't?
That ring. I played in a pivot chair, sitting, right? And so when I turned, sometimes I'd just do this. And that ring was there at times when I didn't realize I was facing the wall. So I'd just be like, and I'd be back on track again.
Good to go.
I didn't mind it because usually I use my foot and the feeling of my recliner. I recently picked up at a yard sale. Yeah. And I'll use that to know that I'm almost facing the camera because it's just at the... Anyways, so that ring helped.
Nice. All right, Jeremy, let's rate this sucker. What's our rating scale?
All right. Number 1, absolutely. Just next paycheck, or if you got money, get it now. You'll love it. Done.
Yeah.
2 is, if it's on sale or if it's gifted to you, wonderful. You'll enjoy it. You don't need to race out and grab it.
So if someone gives it to you, why not?
Yeah, I'll take it. Thank you.
Yes, I like that.
Number 3 is absolutely fucking not.
Right.
Don't get it. It's a waste of money. You'll just clog up space on your PlayStation and empty out your wallet.
Right.
Yeah.
So 1, 2, or 3?
I know I tend to be sticking to 2s now.
Okay.
But I'm feeling a 2 for this. Yeah. And I feel 2 because I enjoyed this. There was a lot of missing stuff. It's like they forgot the first 9 chapters of a 14 chapter game. But I'm wondering what's coming next. If they do come out with something, it could change the rating of the first one, strangely enough. Because knowing there's more to it, be like, yes, you have to play this, because then there's this.
Okay.
But I'm right now 2. It's definitely a good game. Don't need to own it. But, if you do own it, you'll like it.
Or if someone gifted it to you.
Or someone gives it to you, you'll play it. You'll like it.
Nice. I'm gonna go with a 1.
All right.
Yeah, and I know, I'm the horror guy on the channel. I'm but also more than that, right? When it's skewed, 90 minutes in toward the horror stuff.
Yeah.
I was like, sweet. I was already having a good time.
Yeah.
And now it's right up my alley. Mm-hmm. And man, I think they killed it with the horror stuff. I think they killed it with the atmosphere. But more so than anything, like despite all of its little issues.
Yeah.
I just have so much fun when I play this.
Yeah.
Like I enjoy the character designs, and I know that so many people, shit on Cookie Pie, and I'm like, I don't care, man. It's like I just want.
I liked her.
Yeah, it's so goofy and weird and totally unexpected.
And the main villain on the the hovercraft chair,
Loved it.
Looked like a weird. I thought it was like a cute little robot animal coming down till I realized it was the thrusters underneath the chair.
Yeah, cute wasn't the word I was going for, but sure, it's like an evil Pokemon.
Really, that? Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like I've now played it 4 times, and every time I play it, I have more fun than the time before. And when and I know it's a divisive game, but when people tell me they're like, "Oh, it's got this problem, this problem, this problem," and I can't even believe you like it. It always makes me go, I guess I need to play it again.
Yeah.
I need to take another look at it. And every time I take another look at it, I go, "This is a $20." Budget version of Uncharted.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. This is what when an independent company has a limited budget and a limited time, and they loved Uncharted games.
Yeah, clearly.
This is what they made.
Yep.
And I mean, it's is it AAA? No, but it's a $20 game, and I feel like there are elements of it that are AAA.
Well, they give a lot of options with the gunplay, the weapons, knives, sword.
Yeah.
Grenades, those the dynamite's preset. But yeah, they give you quite a few things and the puzzles.
The puzzles?
I love the puzzle boxes with the marble.
Right, and they're not hard. They're just, but they're thrown in there and they're just fun.
Yeah, they're good breakup. And when they add the two of them, they're always introducing more. And when it got towards the end with the environmental Prince of Persia-ish type of things you need to avoid in climbing, they ramp it up in a great way. It's not overkill too much in the beginning, and then it's that way the whole way through. It unfolds pretty well,
Yeah. I will say again, this is a divisive game.
Yeah.
I guess I can see how the smaller issues are a bigger deal for some people.
Yeah.
But man, I'm now, like I said, 4 times. I've played this game 4 times, and I love it more every time. Yeah. And those little issues become less of an issue every time. When the sequel comes out, man, I hope that they put more time and more money and more everything into the sequel.
Yeah.
Give me a game that's twice as long, charge me 3 times as much for it, right? And just and really show us what you got.
Sure.
Because man, I am so excited to see what this team does next.
Right?
I think they absolutely killed it.
Yeah. No, it's definitely a fucking fun game.
So that about does it for another episode of Why We Love PlayStation VR. Make sure in the comments below you let us know what you thought of Immortal Legacy: The Jade Cipher.
Yeah.
I know right now we're going to see such a wide range of comments. There are people that absolutely hate this game, and there are people like me who absolutely love it. And I think there's very little in between.
Yeah.
There's going to be that dude that goes, I kind of liked it.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, well, there's you too.
Yeah. I'm unsubbing. This game is horrible.
Right. Why do you only give positive reviews?
Remember those days?
Do
you still suffer from that?
They still happen. I'm like, are you really paying attention to the reviews? Like Groundhog Day, I'm like, I shit on everything about that except for the story.
Yeah.
I was like, really?
Even just scroll through the back is like 1+ sometimes on games and many negatives.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, so that does it. Make sure you let us know what other games you want us to play, because the list is long. It's getting longer by the day, and of course, we'll be back next week with another.
Don't touch it.
With another Why We Love episode of a scary PlayStation VR game.
October month.
I love October month. Spooky.
Yeah.
It's spooky.
So spooky.
For another episode of Why We Love PlayStation VR. I'm Bryan Paul,
and I'm Jeremy King,
and we'll see you next week.
Next week.